She's been watching you, smiling like it's nothing, laughing like you're just another guy, acting like your presence doesn't shake her, but it does. You can feel it. You've felt it in the way her energy shifts when you enter the room, in the way her body tenses just slightly when your eyes lock. She's craving you, but she'll never say it out loud. And if you don't know how to read the signs, if you keep treating her like a friend while she's battling her own secret desire for you, then you'll lose her to a man who does see through the mask. Most men miss it, not because they're weak, but because they've been trained to listen to her words instead of watching her behavior. And women, especially strong, feminine women, speak in codes. They crave with their silence. They flirt with their boundaries. And if you don't understand how to respond, if you hesitate when she's hoping you'll act, she'll bury that craving so deep you'll swear it was never there. This isn't about playing games. This is about learning how women really express desire and what separates the man she keeps around from the one she dreams about when the lights go out. You're about to uncover the 4 psychological signs a woman is craving you but hiding it. And more importantly, how to respond in a way that makes her craving impossible to suppress. Don't blink. Don't scroll. Because once you understand what I'm about to show you, you'll never be confused by her again. You'll see her. And more importantly, she'll feel seen. And once that happens, everything changes. When a woman desires a man, but doesn't feel safe enough to express it, she doesn't confess it with words. She communicates it in code. And most men miss it because they're looking for what's said, not what's shown. You see, a woman's craving rarely explodes in grand romantic gestures. It leaks out through controlled glances, micro behaviors, and emotional shifts so subtle they can easily be mistaken for indifference. But they're anything but. They're strategic, deliberate, feminine. Let's take jealousy. A woman who craves you will often become possessive, but quietly. She may never tell you, "I don't like that girl you were talking to." Instead, she'll withdraw. Her smile might fade, her tone gets clipped, and her vibe shifts. That's not just moodiness. That's her instinct reacting to threat, the threat of losing your attention. Even if she has no official claim on you, her ego won't let her admit it, but her emotions already have. The craving is there. It's just buried beneath pride. Then there's the body. The female body knows long before the female brain is willing to speak up. Watch her eyes. If she's craving you, she won't just look at you. She'll scan you. Her gaze may drop to your lips when you talk. Her eyes might linger longer than she intends before she catches herself and looks away, pretending to focus on something else. That moment is gold. She's imagining something deeper, something she's not ready to admit, not even to herself. And physical touch. It's never random. When a woman touches your arm, fixes your shirt collar, or bumps you with playful energy, it's not always friendly. These are low-risk ways to feel you, to test the electricity between you. And afterward, she'll often cover it up with laughter or brush it off like it was nothing. But it was everything. She's starving for closeness, but she's afraid of being exposed. Even her language starts to shift. A woman craving a man begins to subconsciously mirror his speech patterns, his energy, even his emotional rhythm. That's biology at work. Feminine energy molding itself around masculine presence. It's not manipulation. It's magnetism. The more aligned she feels with you, the more she unconsciously reflects who you are. Her whole being starts adapting to your vibe. And if you're too distracted, too passive, or too self-doubting to notice, you'll miss the truth sitting right in front of you. Craving isn't loud. It's disguised as indifference. That's the trap. The louder she laughs, the more neutral she acts, the more she doesn't care, the more you need to pay attention. Because when a woman is hiding her desire, she won't beg for your attention. She'll hide in plain sight, hoping you're man enough to see her without her having to say it. Don't look for words. Look for patterns. Look for energy shifts. Learn to read silence louder than speech. Because if you can't decode the quiet craving of a woman's soul, you'll keep missing women who are already yours. But too afraid to show it. Be the man who sees what others overlook. A woman's desire for a man can be intense. So intense, in fact, that it scares her. Not because you're dangerous, but because craving you means giving up something she's worked hard to build control. You see, most women, especially the emotionally intelligent ones, are not easily impressed. They've been hurt. They've been disappointed. They've learned to protect themselves by wearing armor that looks like confidence, independence, or even disinterest. But underneath all of that is a craving she's terrified to admit. Because to admit it means she has to surrender to a vulnerability she may not feel safe enough to experience. And this is where men go wrong. They expect clarity, openness, and emotional honesty from a woman who is in psychological defense mode. But they expect her to tell them she wants them. But that's not how female psychology works, especially not in the early stages. Craving you makes her feel exposed. And exposure is risk. It risks rejection. It risks being misunderstood. It risks giving power to someone who might not honor it. That's why she hides it. That's why she says, just not ready. That's why she flirts 1 minute and pulls back the next. Her craving isn't gone. It's suppressed. It's locked in a room guarded by past heartbreaks and societal conditioning that told her she must never want a man more than he wants her. And in that tension between desire and self-protection, she becomes emotionally unpredictable. She wants closeness, but fears losing control. She wants to be pursued, but doesn't want to look desperate. This inner conflict creates what I call emotional dissonance, where her words say one thing, but her energy says another. And men who aren't emotionally aware will either get frustrated and walk away, or start playing the same guessing game, which only pushes her further into her shell. What she needs isn't more questions. What she needs is a certainty. Masculine certainty that doesn't demand vulnerability, but creates safety for it to emerge. That safety is not about coddling her. It's about showing her, consistently, that you see beyond the performance, that you recognize the dance she's doing, that you're emotionally strong enough not to be confused by the push-pull. When a man leads with grounded energy, confident, stable, non-reactive, he gives her a silent permission to lower her guard. He becomes the stillness in her storm, the anchor she didn't even realize she was searching for. Because no woman wants to crave a man who can't handle her depth. And no woman will reveal her depth to a man who makes her feel like she's too much. But when she senses that you can hold space for her contradictions, her strength and her softness, her fear and her desire, she slowly begins to trust. And when trust is built, the craving no longer has to hide. So here's the true thing. If she's hiding her desire, it's not because it's not there. It's because she's still waiting to see if you are the kind of man she can safely surrender it to. Here's the part no one teaches men, but every high-value woman is silently begging for. Take the lead, not just with your words, not with rehearsed lines or cheap confidence, but with you energy. When a woman is craving you and hiding it, she's in a state of inner conflict, and she's watching intensely to see if you can break that tension with clarity, direction, and boldness. If you can't, she retreats deeper into herself because you just confirmed her fear that she'll have to carry both the desire and the decision. There is nothing more exhausting to a feminine woman than a man who lacks initiative. You may think your patience is politeness, your silence is respect, or your hesitation is wisdom. But in her body, what she feels is abandonment. Her craving can't flourish in confusion. It needs leadership, not domination. A man who knows what he wants. A man who moves with confidence, not to overpower, but to invite. A man who can feel the subtle cues of a woman's hidden desire and respond with certainty. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being awake. Awake enough to read the signals. Awake enough to recognize when her touch isn't just playful. It's a bridge. When her laugh isn't just friendly, it's a door. And if you stand there waiting for a written invitation, you'll miss the fact that she's already let you in. You were just too uncertain to step through. Here's the truth: most men don't want to hug. If she has to make the move, she will resent you for it. Because the moment she has to lead, she doesn't feel feminine. She feels masculine. She feels like the one steering the connection. And that completely disrupts the polarity that her body was craving in the first place. She doesn't want to tell you what to do. She wants you to know. That's why your boldness is not just attractive. It's necessary. It's the very thing that gives her craving space to express itself. When you lead, she relaxes. When you decide, she surrenders. When you step forward without fear of rejection, you show her something raring: a man who isn't afraid of feminine power. A man who can hold it, lead it, and dance with it. Most men are afraid to act unless a woman makes it obvious. But what they don't understand is that her subtlety is the invitation. She's not hiding because she's not interested. She's hiding because she needs to feel safe enough for her craving to reveal itself. And the safety comes from your certainty. So if you're waiting for permission, you've already lost. You don't need permission to lead. You need presence. You need courage. You need to stop waiting and start guiding the energy that's already there. Because when you move with confidence, she doesn't just follow, she melts. And in that moment, her hidden craving is no longer a mystery. It becomes undeniable, alive, and fully yours.